Yeah, so before going to understand today's concepts, let's try to recollect it, what we were discussed yesterday, and then we'll go ahead to that. Yeah, what we were understanding yesterday? So what are the concepts?
Copying files between Windows to Linux, Linux to Linux, and client to server Linux system.
Yeah. So the main points, if you just try to understand it, still we didn't discuss about that. How do we copy the files from the Linux to Linux?
How to access the remote system?
Yes, exactly. So how do we use it SSH protocol to communicate to the remote system?
Yes, sir. Yes,
so that is the main concept. But still we have that how to copy the files from the Linux to Linux, which we need to understand it. But Windows to Linux, how do you copy it is, yes, you can use it the mobile system, which is supporting about it once you log into the system. Yes, suppose, let me connect to the systems. The systems are already up and running. I didn't shut down those systems. Yes. So this is the client and this is the server. Both are running. I have another system Ubuntu. Let me stop this one. This is no more required here. Okay. So let me use that the same session. Yeah. So this is 33.10. So this is a client machine. And another one is the server. Let me use the same session. Yeah, so this is a server. What about this one? This is no more required. Let me close this. Okay, so we are understanding how do we use it this mobile system to download the files or to upload the files from the Windows to Linux operating system. So that was one concept which we are getting about it. And how do we configure that SSH between the client and to the server with the password-based communication or passwordless communication? Password-based communication, what we need to do this is in the etc sh sshd config, password authentication should be enabled. That is yes, and restart the SSH service. But if you are expecting that the key-based the communication, so first we need to generate SSH keys for that user. So using SH keygen, and it is generating the private key and public key. And in the client machine, are we going to have it the private key or public key? Which one?
Private key.
Yeah, on the client system, there should be private key. And which key we need to copy to that the remote server?
Public key.
Yes, that is a public key. But you don't need to edit this file and copying that. So what is the command that we can use it to copy the public key to the remote system? What is the command that can be used to connect to the to copy the public key to the remote system?
SSH-copy-id.
Yeah, SSH copy ID. This is the command. But syntax is yes, username to which on which user address do you want to copy it and to which system that you want to copy it. Username at the rate of
IP address.
So this is copying the public key. And how do we use it? SH command is SH username at the rate of IP address. Which system do you want to connect it? Username and with the IP address. And how do we generate the keys? One more command which you are understanding is
SSH-keygen.
yes, SSH-keygen. So this is helping to generate a key. Yeah, generate a key and copy the public key, then connect using that SH command. The final overall that's concept. But from the Windows system, how to connect it to the remote system? We are using the mobile extreme understanding, PuTTY understanding, and then Git bash. Whether Git bash or whether that is The terminal if you are using is nothing but, so this is the command now, right? But putty, that is a GUI based, and mobile XTEM is also GUI based, where you can enter that the IP address, the username, and the port. And if it is a password, here you don't have anywhere to specify that. A remote environment with interactive shell, which is having. But if it is a private key, yes, you need to specify the location of the private key. Already we are observing that the vagrant machine connecting with the private key also using the mobile XTEM. Yeah, private key that is from the source systems, and public key that is on the destination system. Yeah, these are the concepts that we are trying to understand. Overall, yes, 3 or 4 commands which belong to the SH related, and 3 or 4 different tools. There is a putty, git bash, mobile XTEM. Yeah, there are the three tools that we are trying to understand how to connect it to the system. Yeah, that's about right the concepts yesterday. Are you clear? Have you the worked with this the lab guide? How many of you completed this exercise? Good. Awesome, Ajay. How many of you completed this task? Launching 2 virtual machines. Okay, Usha not yet done completely. Yeah, launching 2 virtual machines and installing the mobile XTEM and password based enabling at system level, that is sh and sh underscore d config file, enabling the property password based authentication to yes and restarting the service. Then come to the Windows system and you can use it connecting to the system using password based. Okay, Sushma, so you didn't complete it, but you will complete by end of this weekend. Okay, good. What about others? Yeah, try to work it on it, but don't postpone it. So on that day, if you work it, and that would be helpful. And I have already uploaded the video. I shared it, right? The yesterday's classes I have uploaded. So if you have still some points required, yes, go ahead with the fast forward option, that is with 1.5 speed something. Then you can try to recollect it quickly about that. Maybe 1.5 hour class, then you can complete in the 40-45 minutes, and you can recollect once again the session, the whatever we had it. Yeah, good. Let me go ahead. The one more concept, the small concept on this. The working on the remote systems point of view. How do we copy the files from the Linux to Linux? Windows to Linux is mobile XTEM. You can use it, or we have the WinSCP is another tool. Let me show that that's also the WinSCP. Yeah, this is also simple file. You can download it and you can install it on the Windows system to copy the files from the Windows system to Linux system. Yeah, so this left side menu you see this is the Windows file system. So what are the files you have the files the which you can try to which are all the files you have, those files which you can copy to the Linux system. But this Linux system you need to connect it to which Linux system that you want to copy that. Yeah, so here a host name, that is 192.168.33.10 or 11, whatever you have. Yes, that host name, port number, username, and password. Yeah, you can specify all the details and you can log into the system. It is asking this update. Yeah, now it has been connected to this my background home directory. Yeah, user home directory. Yeah, so this is about the Linux operating system. If you have this any files here, you can take the files and you can copy to here. Just that is a drag and drop. Or if you have those files here and if you'd like to copy, suppose I have this file, I'd like to copy that. So which directory that you want to copy it? Okay, I would like to copy to the temporary directory. Yes, you can just drag and drop it. Now that file has been copied from the Windows to Linux. Or the same way from the Linux to that Windows also you can copy it, that is by using the drag and drop option. Yeah, this is another tool with SCP, or you can use it that's mobile XML itself. Yes, to copy the files or upload the files, or downloading or uploading the files. This is from the Windows to remote Linux operating system. But Linux to Linux, how do I copy it? Linux is the command line based, and another system also command line based. But command to command, how I can do that? Yes, CLI approaches, how to use it is. Normally within the system, if you would like to copy that, we use a copy command, right? Copy command and the source file, which file does you want to copy that? Source file will define it. And if you have this destination directory, to which directory does you want to copy it, the path of the destination directory will specify that. So normally this is the command which we use it locally to copy the files. Local on the same system. Which file does you want to, and to which directory does you want to copy that. But now we are talking about it. Suppose in the current directory, do you have any file? Okay, so I have this start.sh script or some copy.sh script. Yes, this file I need to copy to this server. In the current directory, do we have that file? No files are available. But this is shell script, whatever I am having that, the shell script I need to copy to the server. Yeah, the remote server, and then do you want to execute it or do you want to use it? That's the latest. But the file, whatever I'm having in my client system, I need to copy to my server. How do I do that? Yeah, this is also same syntax of the CP command, but here we say that SCP command, the secure copy, and it uses internally SSH mechanism to communicate between the client system to the server system. It also uses the SSH protocol. Communication is SSH. But secured copy SCP is a command. You need to define that which file is in the current directory. What are the copy.sh file which I'm having? That is a source file. Yes, source file. Yes, this is my file. I would like to copy that. And you need to specify the destination directory, right? Copy, if you are doing this, is destination directory. But here the destination directory is not on my same system. So I'm having this in my remote system. This is system. We know that SSH mechanism. SSH, whenever you are using, how do we define that? Normally syntax is username at the rate of IP address, right? Yes, what is the username here we are using? Vagrant at the rate of, to which system that we want to copy it? This system. That is 192.168.33.11. So this is helping connecting to the system. Connectivity. SH connectivity. So SCP internally is going to use a SH mechanism and it connects with this username and to this IP address. Already we have configured password based or passwordless we have configured. It uses that authentication mechanisms. Whatever it is available, it is going to use that authentication mechanisms. But after connecting to this system, where do you want to copy this file? You need to specify the destination directory or not? Yes, after connecting to this system, okay, it is connected. But where do I want to copy that? I would like to copy to this user phone directory. So I would like to copy to this location or which location, that is about your choice. How I can specify the location is After specifying that username and IP address, you can use a colon, and then path where do you want to copy the file. Simple command and straightforward command, no confusions. So it is also copy command, but we use it secured copy. A switch file, that is source file, and destination directory. Destination directory, what is that? First to connect it to the system. Yes, use that. It is going to use it internally SSH mechanism. It connects to the system on the basis of the authentication mechanism which are defined. For the password, it is going to prompt the password. For the passwordless, it is directly going to copy that. Yeah, it connects to the system. But after connecting to the system, in which destination directory you want to copy it, you can use a colon and specify the destination directory. So now if I run this command, already we have passwordless communication, right? Between this system to that, the server. Yesterday we have configured the passwordless communication. Now it is used SCP and it is copying that. Yes, it is done 100%. And this is the size of the file and this is the time which has been taken. That's while copying time. Now if I go back to the remote server, but is it required connecting to the remote server to check it my file has been copied or not? I'm the lazy fellow. I don't want to go to the system to check it. What I can do is I can take this username and IP address and I can use it SSH, right? And connect to the system. And in the user home directory, check it about it. Yes, the copy.sh has been copied. That is available in which system? That is in the server system. Yeah, then exit. Yes, that has been copied successfully. Or you can go to the system and you can verify that it has been copied. Yes, copy.sh file has been copied. Are you clear about this SCP command?
Yes.
Yeah, simple and straightforward. It is like a copy command. But here you are going to connect into the remote system. That remote system SH mechanism, whatever we are using that, the username and at the data, that's you need to use it here. Suppose I have one file in this remote system. I need to get that file to my local system. That means from the server, I need to copy to my local system, to the client system. How do we do that? Suppose in the remote server, let me create in this current directory one file. Or let me create one file that is touch something test.txt. Okay, on this remote server, I have this file. I need to get this. I need to get that remote server file to my local system. So normally you can go to here and you can run that SCP, right? SCP and the source file and give the system username and IP address colon where do you want to copy it, the path. This is from the server system. If you export it, that is you can define it. But I'm on the client machine itself. I would like to run the commands from the client system itself. But my source file is in the remote server and destination is current system. Previous what we are talking, that is source file is in the current system and destination file is on the remote system. Destination file we want to copy to the remote system. But now the reverse way. I have the file in the remote system. My source file is which file I would like to copy it. That file is on the remote system in the so-and-so location. And I would like to copy to this local system. Yeah, now how do we use it? Now use it, the remote server details and the source file location, right? So where the source file is located? Command always the same, source file and a destination directory. But my source file is located in the remote system. Yes, in the remote system. Yes, this is about my remote system username and IP address. And where that file is located? Let's use the pwd and this is the directory, user home directory and test.txt. This is the file name. Let's specify that /home/ vagrant. Specify always the complete path. That is, absolute path is recommended, complete path is recommended. And what is the file name we have? Test.txt. So now I am defining this is the source file. But to where do I want to copy that? To the current directory in the current system.
Yeah.
Yeah, dot you can use it. Or you can specify the path of it. The path directly, suppose home/vagrant. Where do you want to copy that? That's location you can specify. But here you don't need to define the remote server details. So source now we are taking from this remote server, and this is the file location on this remote server, and to this location we are planning to copy the SCP. You can use it client to the server copy, that means local to remote, or a remote file getting to the local one. So now if I try to run this, it's worked. And if I just check it in my local directory, yes, you see the test.txt there, that's we got it. Now from this remote system, this is the source file, and we copy to this destination directory. Yeah, this is another option. So what are the options we are talking that? Local to remote system copy, or remote file copying to the local system. But suppose I have the file in a remote server, but I need to copy to the another remote server. So from the system, can I copy that taking from this remote server to that another remote server? Can we handle that? Yes, we can do that. How do we define this now? SCP source file. Source file in which server is located? The server username, @ of IP address of the system, and the path of the file. This is the source. And destination, where do you want to copy that? The destination or remote server related username, and the remote server, that's IP address, colon, and path, where do you want to copy that? If I use this option, that means from the remote server, one remote server to another remote server, I am copying the files. So SCP can be used local to remote, or remote file getting to the local, or from one remote server copying to that another remote server. But you need to have the communication mechanism from this system. To this system, you need to have that SH options, and to this system also you need to have that communication systems. Is it clear about that SCP?
Yep, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good utility, and they're very helpful. But all these points, whatever we are understanding, finally, whenever we move to the DevOps solution, this is Linux solution. But as a DevOps engineer, whenever we move to the DevOps, we don't work it with all these SCP commands or SH commands directly. We use it these concepts, but we don't work it directly with these commands. So we implement that Ansible playbooks, and Ansible is going to use it internally these commands. How to copy the files? Suppose I have one file, I need to copy to the 100 systems. Executing that one by one systems about this SCP command, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time, right? So infra, yes, multiple environments, each environment, a number of servers. So if you like to manage it, multiples of the 10 or multiples of the 100 or multiples of the 1,000 servers, we don't use it like running the commands one by one, but this concept is required. If you don't know this concept, then next whenever we are going to talk about that Ansible, how do we use it to manage that number of servers to copy the files? Then it is little bit difficult to understand. Yeah, if you know all these points at the system level, how do you do that? But multiple systems, how do you do that? That is a DevOps solution. Now we are talking that one or two systems. But whenever we move to the DevOps is automation approaches, automation solutions. Number of systems, how do we manage it? Number of environments, how do we manage it? Number of projects, how do we manage it? With the same configuration if it is required. Yeah, that's about some remote system related commands, SH and SCP. That is very, very important commands. And networks, yes, understanding, and host names, how to define it, host name CTL commands, and then ping commands, if config commands, or netshot commands, and the previous like a process management, that is a top or htop commands, package management commands, service management commands. Service management is system CTL. Do you want to start it or stop it or restart it, or do you want to status, or do you want to enable or disable? And package management, that is m install, m remove, m update, m upgrade, or searching that the packaged files, installed packages, listing that the packaged files, or finding that the particular file belong to the particular package. There's the package management, process management, service management, networking related, SH, SCP, especially protocols understanding. RDP, that is for Windows-based operating system, and SSH is for Linux-based operating systems. And HTTP is another protocol that we are trying to understand, that is for web server. Yeah, services and service ports understanding, ports which are listening understanding, and ping commands understanding. Yeah, how do we use the tools to connect to the systems, either to copy the files or accessing the remote systems point of view. Yeah, tools understanding. And before that, yes, which were understanding about the find commands, grep commands. Yeah, so all the stuff that's required, but still let's have it like one more concept, that is users management. So as a DevOps engineer, they're all important. I'm not going to waste about your time honestly to speak it. I mean, all these options. Yes, these are all important. If you are good with all these concepts, then next whenever we started the DevOps, you will be knowing that on the top of this as a DevOps engineer role, because these are all to perform it already Linux administrators there. The Linux administrators and already we have in the market. But why they are looking you, that is DevOps engineer. So we should know these points, but on the top of this, we are going to do that automation activities. That is DevOps solutions will apply that. We'll come back to that. Yeah, are you clear about this? Before moving to that user management, one more section from the Linux. So please ping this in the chat. Yes, good. Are clear? Or yes? Okay, Ajay, Ravi, good. Usha, Sushma, Raghava, Vinky. Yes, someone, so Vinky was asking this initially. We have this overall around 25 or 30 commands. Is it enough for the DevOps engineer? No, that is not enough. So all these things are required if you would like to work with that automation approaches. So if whenever you are working with that automation approaches, if you are good on the basic level, then you can do that automation.
Sir, sir, one more doubt is, so already we have this playbook and all these, in many of the places they are using that Ansible playbook software. So it is better to have all this knowledge,
Yes.
so that the automation becomes easy or what?
Yes, exactly. If you know all these concepts, then next, like suppose, okay, you are going to use the playbook, fine, good. If you have this idea on the Ansible and Ansible playbook, but whenever we are using the playbook, suppose you need to use the playbook to copy the file. But if you're doing that or implementing the copy option, if you're already knowing about it here, okay, copy is going to do that. Remote systems, how do I copy it? Background, it is required SH and with the SCP. If you know that, then whenever you are working with that Ansible, you are using directly those concepts. Then during the troubleshooting point of view, especially troubleshooting, if that is something is not working, suppose if you are going to run the playbook, before that you need to have the SH communication between the playbook system to the remote system. If you don't know that SH communication and all that, how to configure it, password based or passwordless, then that is something difficult. You are going to face the issues with the connectivity issues. And as well as, don't think that everything that is possible with Ansible playbooks is sometimes some custom scripts we need to write it, shell scripts. But shell script, if you're going to implementing or if you'd like to get that some more confidence on it, then you should have the grip on the Linux commands.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I faced the same thing only. They
Yeah.
are not all Ansible is not using 100% sometimes only. So if you
Yes.
want to close some, I'm telling that not cron job. If you want to use something, if a log is needs to clear the 100%, the 90% above. Sometimes we use shell scripts or Python scripts.
Yes.
It is not
Yes,
possible
exactly.
sometimes in Ansible.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
from scratch level, if you want to do from scratch level, we want to learn everything, whatever we are learning in the session.
Yes. If you're good with all these concepts, then next classes it will be easy.
Right, correct, sir.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, thank you. So let me move to this next concept. Is it clear that's the Venki which you are asking? Venki, right? It was.
Yes, sir. Yes, I am. I got that answer.
Okay, good. Thank you.
That's a doubt for me. Generally, even I have knowledge in Linux. Many of people may say, suppose in my organization, if I ask a DevOps engineer, he used to say like that. That's the reason I asked you.
Okay. Yeah, but if you're purely that DevOps engineer and with automation scripts to manage it with infra, then you should know all these things. But high level, some kind of the process defining, okay, that can be done with DevOps engineer. But if you like to get it more confidence on automation scripts, then you should know all these points. Okay, good.